Well, we only have a window of 2 to 5 minutes of short-term memory recall when it comes to dreams. So if you wake up and let's say you want to brush your teeth or just check your phone for a message quickly, that dream will be gone. And even though you remember it vividly, it will be gone, just because the first thing you need to do in the morning, you need to write down your dreams or speak into a voice note or whatever you need to do. Have that conscious moment the first 5 minutes of waking up to talk about what just happened or it's gone.
Exploring the human journey.
When we go to sleep, we dream about things that were behind the images that we thought we were looking at, and they come up in our dreams and our subconscious catches them. A lot of times we dream about things that we have no idea that happen. And for an example, you start dreaming about the Holocaust and I've never watched anything on the Holocaust. I'm not part of. It's not during this time, and it's because they're coming to us within our dreams with memories from them. And it's amazing to have these dreams like memories from our ancestors, and it's just an amazing feeling, along with feeling that you're pregnant and oh my God, I had a dream last night that I'm pregnant, and that does not mean anything. It means you're about to give birth to a new opportunity and something new is coming into your life, something exciting, a new person, a new relationship, a new job, something that you've been working on for the last 9 months is finally coming into fruition, that you're giving birth to into your world. So it's an amazing process to really analyze and pull the messages out of our subconscious through our dreams. We all dream, and it's about training your memory, training your mind to remember your dreams. So an exercise that I have people who say they don't dream do is that before you go to sleep, you tell yourself, I'm going to remember my dreams in the morning. I'm going to remember everything that I can and write it down immediately. You put a notebook and a pen right by your bed, so you're telling yourself you are going to remember your dream and you are going to write it down in the morning. So when you wake up and all you remember is a house, you write that down, a house. The next night, you remember a house and something else. And every single night after that you continue to write, you remember a little bit more and a little bit more, to the point where you're having full-blown dreams and writing pages in your journal when 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, you remembered nothing. Dreams are the key to fully understanding what we go through during the day. Every dream you have has a message to send us.
Hi and welcome. I'm so glad you joined us today. Sometime a few months ago, we ran into Franny Nicole and we had a great conversation, and we started talking about dreams and dream interpretation. And then there was a passage of time, as you see in the feature video. She's got a different color hair and she's got some new things she's working on. I said, let's sit down and have a conversation. And so today we're going to have so much fun. What are your dreams telling you? Do you remember your dreams? These are all the questions a lot of people have.
Yeah.
What's the significance of it? So thank you for being here, Franny.
Thank you for having me. I feel very honored to be here today.
Yeah, this is great. The whole point about dreams is a lot of people, I fall asleep, me. Yeah. And I just don't remember a lot, or I do, but I never write them down. And you told us it's so important to write your dreams because your dreams are speaking to you.
Well, we only have a window of 2 to 5 minutes of short-term memory recall when it comes to dreams. So if you wake up and let's say you want to brush your teeth or just check your phone for a message quickly, that dream will be gone. And even though you remember it vividly, it will be gone, just because the first thing you need to do in the morning, you need to write down your dreams or speak into a voice note or whatever you need to do. Have that conscious moment the first 5 minutes of waking up to talk about what just happened or it's gone.
What is the importance of dreams? Like, why are they there in the first place?
The dreams in your subconscious is a huge untapped reservoir of information where the naked eye doesn't see during the day. So you can purposely go to bed before you go to sleep and say, show me this, like, and have intention before you go to sleep on something that you may need help with, something that you're having trouble with, or just need guidance with, and just ask yourself to show you something that maybe you didn't see with the naked eye, and hopefully that you were to dream about it. And your dreams are there to support you, and they're there for you. And even though you may not remember them, they're there, and they're there to help you.
Mm-hmm. I always feel like there's this space that my subconscious is talking to me or something. And I do remember occasionally I wake up, I'm like, yeah, I had this dream and I remember this thing. And I feel like there's like this subconscious message, because in my dream, I'm playing all of the characters, and these characters are speaking to me, or there's a monster chasing me, or somebody's making fun of me, or whatever that thing is. But it's all me. I'm the one creating all the images.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, well, what is it that I'm trying to tell myself?
Exactly. What is it that you're trying to tell yourself? And it's like yourself is trying to help you out and get farther along in life, versus trying to slow you down. And whether you need to face a problem, whether you need to let go of people, and just trying to help you figure it out sooner than later.
Mm-hmm. I noticed on your table and on your bookshelves, you had a lot of books about dreams. So like there's these common themes.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know it was that robust of a subject matter that there would just be volumes of materials.
Well, yeah, there's different perspectives of dreams. There's Jung, there's Freud, there is more recent authors on dreams, and there's all the different personas that we become, the masks that we wear during the day. And then obviously your subconscious comes out with the truth in your dreams.
Mm-hmm.
You can't hide anything from your subconscious. Your subconscious is like the truth of all telling.
Mm-hmm.
You can't run from it as much as you try.
Yeah.
So it's really important to pay attention to your dreams.
Yeah, it is.
So you talk about the journaling.
Yes. So whether you're writing down that, and it doesn't have to make any sense. You can write down that I saw somebody with a purple shirt. And it's not that you need to understand in the moment that you're writing it. You just need to write down any object or anything that you saw. It doesn't even have to be a story. Like, I was doing this. It could just be objects and a descriptive of what you saw in your dream. And then later on, go back and focus on every object or everything that you were seeing in your dream, and kind of reflect on every individual item to kind of understand what message it was sending.
I know I've done like a dream that I've had, and I had like a worksheet. I was like in a workshop, and it was interesting because we had to sit back and like view the dream from every part of the dream.
Yeah.
And is that kind of how it's one way it's
every
done, or
part
is it?
is you in a sense. So it's a different form of yourself telling you the message. So it's different point of views. It's different ways of metaphors. It can be something completely random, and it could be a metaphor for something that's happening in your current life. And that's the only way that your subconscious feels that you would understand it in the point of view of something else.
Do you have like examples of what metaphors could come
Well,
up?
she talked about like if you have the feeling like you're pregnant, that could be something being birthed within you in the feature video.
So I had a dream of it was very vivid, where I'm in high school and I felt abandoned, and I'm living in this shack on the beach, and I'm pushing this little girl in a stroller, this baby in a stroller, and my dad abandoned me. This is what I saw immediately. My dad abandoned me because I got pregnant and had a child, and I'm pushing this child around. I'm living in a shack.
No, this was the dream or
This
real
is
life?
the dream.
Okay.
This is the dream.
Okay.
But after writing it down, interpreting it, it's me pushing myself as a child who my father could only see me as. So my father could only see me as his child, even though I am an adult. And I felt that he would abandon me if he were to see who I really was. But in hindsight, it's me pushing a kid, and anyone in any A to Z dream book could be like, oh, you were pregnant and had a kid and your dad disowned you. It's like, no, on a deeper level, there's common dreams, but then you have to go behind the common dreams and see the root and what's happening in your life. And I felt that my father only saw me as a child. So I'm pushing myself around as a child that he saw me as. So that's kind of like the metaphor of explaining to me that that's how I felt my father saw me, if that makes, if I answered that question properly.
Yeah.
So you're doing like that internal work. You're
Yeah.
trying to give presence to that space and time.
Yeah,
you're
and
going
I
through.
felt that if he were to see the real me, he would abandon me. In real life, that's just, underlining issues of just
self-worth
growing
and-
from a teenager to becoming an
Yeah.
adult. If
Right.
he father-daughter issues, and does he see me as an adult that I am? And if he
Yeah.
does, is he still going to love me kind of problem?
Yeah.
And just that's the dreams that I was having. And at first I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have a baby. I'm going to be alone. But really, when you sit back and analyze not only the dream, but what's currently happening in your waking life, you see how the dream coincides with what's happening into your real life.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a support for
It
what's
is a support,
happening.
yeah. And it helps you, gives you the tools and the answers. If you're really listening, if you're really processing and sitting back and understanding what it's sending you, it could help you and support you.
How did you get into the whole dream thing?
Well, I grew up very spiritual. With my mom is a doctor in psychology, so I grew up meditating, and I think I was writing in a dream journal since I was about 8 or 9 years old.
Oh,
So I
beautiful.
grew up in the world, and not that I didn't have a choice. I just fell into it becoming a habit. And I did my senior thesis on power of dreams. It was just a subject that I really, really wanted to get involved with, and just grew from there.
That's a fascinating thing to start being interested in, even as a kid.
Yeah.
And I've seen the arc of the human journey where it's like you came here to do something, and so these things, the psychological things, and even to the point where if we pick our parents and our family because our soul wants to have this journey, you pick somebody that was in an area that you're also interested in, and the subconscious and the dream. What do you think that soul journey is for you that you wanted to connect that and help people through?
Well, at first it was a problem because I was, and I'm being completely honest with you, because I was in 3rd grade, 4th grade. I was the weird kid in class where I was like, what did you dream about last night? What did, and trying to, and I'm serious, I had no friends, in elementary school because I was the weird girl.
You're the weird kid.
Trying to analyze, and it was very deep. And I'm like, what did you, in my eyes, I just wanted to know what people my age were dreaming. Are they similar dreams to me?
Yeah.
Are they, trying to, that's what I enjoyed and that's what I had passion about. So I wanted to talk to other people about, but it made me an outcast. So for a long time, I suppressed that. I didn't want to talk about what I enjoyed because it made me weird. And nobody wants to talk about spirituality in elementary school.
Right.
I mean, that's, you're playing tic-tac-toe and hopscotch. And I mean, when I was in school. And it's weird. And a lot of people pushed it away. And I ended up pushing it down for many years. And it wasn't until, I think, high school where I finally didn't care. I'm like, you know what? This is who I am. I'm going to be authentic to myself. I don't care if you accept it or not. So I did my senior project on it, and I did really well. And I think spirituality definitely made me who I am, and understanding that there's a lot of different sides of being a human being versus than just the one that we're taught in school or just in any of society.
Did you find that at that age, during high school, that people would embrace some of your thoughts or ideas? Or
I mean, not really. High school's weird. I think not a lot of people express honesty or even their candor of how they feel. It's mainly what the group feels and how everyone else takes it, and they wait for other people's responses for them to speak up. So if anyone agreed with anything I said, I didn't really know. It's just I just went with it and stuck to my guns.
Everybody's weird at high school. They're still trying to figure out who I am.
Who's cool.
How do I fit in? And
everyone's hormonal and
exactly.
Who's hooking up and doing all the football game and whatever.
And I'm over here trying to interpret people's dreams. They're like, who are you? And you need to be on medication. And now they're calling me, and it's just like, oh, how the tables have turned.
Right? Yeah.
I remember as a child having night terrors, having having night dreams, and having grown up in a religious context, my upbringing was very different. I was given the black and white heaven, hell, angel, demon, and I used to have a lot of fears of demons, chasing me. And I remember a specific dream that would reoccur where I was in the back seat, and whoever was driving the car would turn around and suddenly look at me and go, hoo, 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 and they turned into this demonic monster. And I was like, I was frightened because somebody else was driving the car. Yeah. And I'm in the back seat with no control as a child. And here, instead of the authority, whether it was a parent or a family member, they were now this demonic being that was driving my car. And it was a recurring dream all the time.
Do you think it was based off something that you were learning or something that was being pushed onto you as the way demons and angels are presented? Or do you feel like it was just brought on unexpectedly? Like it could actually have been a spirit that was visiting you during that time, or it could have been something that you watched on TV. So there could be so many different avenues on why you had dreams like that, just based off your surroundings, or spirits. I truly believe that spirits come to us in our dreams. So it could be something that unfortunately did not know you were a child, because spirits just see a soul when they come into our dream. They don't know if we're a child. They don't know if we're adults. They do not.
Wow.
My son suffered from night terrors for a really long time, where he was sleepwalking, screaming, talking to me, possessed for many years. Wow. And it wasn't until I taught him how to put himself into a bubble before going to sleep.
Tell us that.
So,
because I'm an adult and I want to know how to do that.
I put myself in a bubble because I still have fears. I still feel negative energy. We're all surrounded with positive light and dark. No matter where you are, it's all about how receptive you are. If you have fear, you're more receptive to the darkness, because they feed off of fear. They feed off of it. And unfortunately, I have a lot of fear. Because I know it. I know that there's darkness. So it's just like I tend to pull to that way, unfortunately. So I put myself in a bubble as well. So all you have to do is kind of just like wipe yourself, not literally, but just like your energy off. And then like if you're putting on a bodysuit, but just like putting on a bodysuit and going to sleep, just like putting yourself into a bubble where they cannot penetrate. And then also in your dreams, as I tell my son, when you feel a spirit come to you, tell them, I'm a little boy, leave me alone.
Oh,
I'm a child. And because they don't know, spirits are, they're in between.
That's so beautiful.
They're in between, and they don't want to come and hurt us, but they also have a message. They have unfinished business. They have things that they are trying to accomplish, and they're just looking for different people to get those things done, whether it's a child or an adult. And if you tell them, most likely they'll go away. And since he started putting himself in a bubble, he no longer talks in his sleep or wakes up screaming.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I put obsidian, which helps deflect negativity in his pillow. So it helps with nightmares and stuff.
What is the night terrors? How are those different from dreams?
I know they're reoccurring. I don't know why they happen. And it's mainly in children, where they have every single night for, it could be years, could be months, but it's trauma. It's traumatizing for them.
Yeah. I mean, our oldest son, who's 25, has night terrors.
Oh, goodness.
And he'll be screaming in his sleep.
It could be something that happened. It could have been an event.
Could be from trauma that he has created in his life.
It could be from an event.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, if you live the life of an addict and you have a bunch of problems, to that point,
definitely
your lifestyle. I'll watch a movie and dream about it all night.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know the show on Hulu, Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah.
So I watched the first season, and I think this first episode, I had to stop watching it because I was really in tune with Reiki, as I still am. I started having dreams where I'm like chained up, and it was just from the show. I'm like, I can't watch that kind of energy anymore.
It brings your vibrations down.
And I'm like, I'm trying to heal people with energy, and I'm watching something that's so negative that are just, treating women this way, and I'm having these nightmares of being chained up in the cellar, and I'm just like, okay, I can't be a healer and having these dreams.
But now you also talked about, like, when you journal in your dream, you might remember a purple shirt today.
Yeah.
Now, do dreams typically keep coming to you until you get the message?
It depends on the situation. So sometimes when you write one dream down, and let's say you only remember, like I said, the purple shirt, and that dream is gone. The next night you have a completely different dream, but you're starting to train yourself to remember more and more to the point where you're remembering full-blown dreams, like I said earlier, that whatever message that was trying to come across earlier will eventually come back because now you're remembering it. And it kind of like cycles itself because it wants to tell. It's not gone because it's there. Your dreams are there to support you. So it will come back when you're ready to receive the message.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why your dreams, no matter whether you remember them or not, they're there. They'll be back.
Okay.
Now, one thing that I have loved from yoga teacher training is the Maya, and it says this is the dream state. Everything that we're doing here. Tell me how the dream that I have as a human being is also some sort of a parallel to living this human experience in the Maya, the dream, the illusion.
Well, what makes what we're doing now different than what you dream at night? Right now. Can you tell me right now that if we're dreaming or not?
I do have an explanation for you. Gail and I went to a dream class, and the guy says, how do you know you're not dreaming? And we're like, I don't know. And he says, put your hand through your other hand. And I said, I can't. He goes, well, in your dream you can. I went, oh, okay. Well, now I know. I must not be dreaming.
But in your dream, do you remember to do that?
I don't know. Sometimes.
Because in dreams, I know with my experience, it feels like real life. It's can be so stressful. And then I wake up and I'm crying because I'm so grateful that it was a dream. But during that dream, it felt like a life. It felt like reality.
Yep.
So during that dream, it's not like, oh, you know? It's the dream.
It was like he was talking about lucid dreaming and getting to that point where like you can actually start controlling your dreams.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And so that's when he's like, when you can start getting to that state, that's when because when you start lucid dreaming, you sometimes lose the fact of when you are dreaming or when you're awake.
Yeah.
And so that's when he's like, how you can tell is by doing certain things like that.
I've only been able to lucid dream a few times, and it's been amazing because once you realize you're in a dream, anything is possible. You can start flying or just mimic anything that's going on and just kind of have like a fantasy world. But it's, I don't want to say rare because it's people do that, but it takes a lot of practice in order for you to reach that conscious level of the lucid dreaming realm.
Why do people want to lucid dream?
Well, dreaming is the highest state of emotional consciousness.
Ooh.
Oh.
So even though it's not rational coherent, it's emotional coherent, and it's just a way for you to have like that emotional balance where you're able to express yourself on a subconscious level and feel your real feelings. And I think dreaming has is a more active brain movement than waking brain movement. So it's
so it sounds to me like it's that right side of your brain that is able to like where you can't always find language for it. Like the dreams actually will bring that out. Through
emotions.
And, yeah.
It's kind of like an artist, and the artist is just throwing different images at you, and this is more of your feeling. You both can have the exact same dream, but depending on how you felt can make the dream completely different for both of you, even though it was the exact same dream, but you could have felt happy, you could have felt sad, and you could have interpreted it completely different because of the emotion that you felt during that dream.
Oh, that sounds
I
like
sometimes
life.
would rather be in a dream state than in real life, because even though dreams can be scary and it's facing your truth, it's the highest level of truth for me in my eyes is you're in your dreams. You can't hide from them.
Wow.
You can't, even though you may not want to face them, the dreams will come, and the recurring is just like, okay, I need to turn around and face whatever's chasing me, whatever I'm running from in the real life, and why I'm being chased in my dreams every single night, because something is happening in the real life that I'm running from. And until you turn around and see who's chasing you, you won't get farther in your life. And dreams bring creativity. It brings out like the child in you, because it's the truth. You're not putting that mask on during your dream state.
Yeah. There's that psychic connection that some people have with their dreams where they're receiving messages. Maybe it's from a past loved one. And you talked about ancestors and spiritual beings giving us messages. Give presence to that.
A lot of times when there's been trauma, and I don't want to say ancestors only visit us for negative reasons, but normally when we have memories from ancestors, it's because of negative events. If it was positive, they unfortunately wouldn't be coming back to throw these positive moments at you. It's been unfinished business in a negative way, and they not necessarily need help fixing, but it's there letting you know that this happened to them and it was left unfinished, and it's just part of your DNA almost. And it's normally only 2 generations, so it's not going to be hundreds of years ago in the war of whatever, and where you're not going to understand what ancestor was. It's pretty, you can pretty much figure out who's visiting you based off the memory, the dream that you had. And like I mentioned earlier, my mother was having dreams of being in Auschwitz, in the concentration camps, and she's born in the 1950s. She wasn't there, but she was having these dreams, and unfortunately a lot of my family died in Poland and during that time, so she was having these vivid dreams of being there. And it's just basically like history in a way, but with your family, and just letting you know, like, this is what happened to me, and we're still here, and we're still kind of like stand for them, almost like be a better person for them because they weren't able to.
It sounds like, to me, it's almost like another way for us to heal family lineages, so we don't keep passing it down.
Be a better person because maybe they weren't. Maybe they were a murderer in the 1920s, and they're coming back and like, we didn't do right, and you need to carry the name. However, every story is different, and it's crazy, the dreams that, if we look it up, I forget what it's called. It's Not Your Fault. It's like a book where it's people do things and it's not their fault. It's just basically off the memories that are not theirs, and they're doing things in honor or because of their ancestors.
Okay.
Wow. I've heard a lot of people talk about an astral plane and then a celestial plane. I don't really understand it. I can't even really articulate the question, but I feel like there's something in the dream world where a soul that has left the body is stuck in this, like, whoa, I can't be dead because I'm still here, but I'm not in my body. And I wonder if that soul, that spirit, is trapped in that space and maybe communicating when your vibration's in a dream state. I wonder if there's some connection there. Can you speak to that at all?
I'm not too versed in that, but I've done shamanic journeys before, so I've felt the separation of like the soul from the body as a living being. So I could only imagine that could be very similar to what it's like to be, deceased and just floating around, kind of waiting for that opportunity to be with a loved one that's in a similar state that you can speak to.
Well, that just feels like that would be a space, because I know when your body is relaxed, your brain is in, what's the dream state? Is it delta or theta?
It's theta. I want to say it's theta, but don't quote me
one of
on
those.
that.
And I know hypnotherapy tries to get you in the theta state. But when you're in that dream state, I feel like those lower level vibrations are probably not as functional in your body, and you're able to get to those higher vibrations.
Well, it's like your dead weight. You're literally, I don't want to say dead, but you're dead weight, and you're just but your body's lifted. If that even makes any sense, it's just.
I've heard people, like Neil talks about in Conversations with God, how he goes, what do you mean my soul travels? And God says to him, he goes, every night when you're asleep, your soul leaves the body and it has these experiences, and then it comes back and it says, okay, the body's back. And he's like, what? And that was something brand new to me. So I wonder if that dream is also that soul having journeys.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar, but I would say so.
You have to be a psychic dreamologist. That's what you got to do.
Just because to reference a shamanic journey, you have the drumming, and the drumming symbolizes when it's time to go. You're up in the astral world, and once the drumming gets faster, that's time for you to show gratitude to whoever you're visiting up there, whoever you're speaking to, and thank them. And that's time to come back to the body, because I think there's a certain way where if you don't come back to your body at a certain time, something could be like a disconnect, and you have to go back to your body and make sure that
Oh,
it's,
wow.
yeah.
Yeah, sounds super scary.
It's kind of scary.
Oh,
I was
what happened?
definitely fearful because you hear the drumming is like a certain drum, boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, and then after like 30 minutes, it's boom, 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 boom. So the second you hear that, and you're in outer space,
Wow.
it literally
Yeah.
feels like you're in outer space, and you hear that, like a lot of fear. Like, what if you don't get down to your body in time? What if? So you have to thank whoever you went to visit and thank them for whatever they had to say, whether it's your power animal, your spirit guides, whoever you're speaking to, thank them and race down to your body.
I gotta go now.
Well,
Wow. I've never heard that.
I hold a lot of fear, and this is my perception of the fast drumming. And a lot of people can perceive it differently, but the second I hear the fast drumming, I freak out because it's just, I try to get back to my body as fast as possible.
Oh,
Wow.
man.
Just because I'm a fearful.
Oh, wow.
I'm so in tune to energy and the dream state that I fear a lot just because I've seen a lot.
What's that fear about? What do you think that is?
I think it's the fear of the possibility of things being infinite. Just any fear or dream that we've ever considered as possible. So that means your worst nightmare can be possible. So I think that's where my fear stems. That whether you have the biggest dream in the world or the worst nightmare, they both are equally possible. So that's where my fear stems, because that can happen. It's, you know, whether you just allow it to come into your world. So
Are there common themes among dreams that people have that can help them like have a shortcut clue, or it kind of fits into this?
There is 10 most common dreams, and that everybody has. Some have more than others. One is falling, like where you're falling. And normally for me, it was always when I'm falling off the bed or just falling, then you immediately wake up. But in the subconscious, falling is a red flag. It means that you have major life problems, that you're falling, you're out of control. And whether it's with work or relationships or anything elsewhere, it's falling is normally a red flag, in my opinion. This is how I take it. Next is teeth falling out. I don't know if you guys ever had a dream where your teeth are falling out.
How about that one?
Well, I clench. I sleep. I wear a bite guard.
I've had dreams where I'm chewing gum, and all of a sudden, like, my teeth just falling out. And teeth represent power and confidence. You know, you're smiling and it's like you feel good. So when your teeth are falling out, you're losing your power. Something in your life, you're losing your confidence, where you're just losing it, or you're giving your power away. So your teeth are falling out.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, doesn't that
totally get
right?
that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Next one is showing up to school or work naked.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the naked
I've
dream.
never had that dream before, but that expresses vulnerability.
Yeah.
Anxiety.
I had the junior high. It was underwear, but it was like,
And it's just showing your real self, your vulnerability. You're scared to show your naked self too, which is just, you know, a metaphor for the vulnerability.
Yeah.
Next one is test taking.
Oh.
Test taking is more common amongst perfectionists. People who always feel like they have to get ahead, always have to be prepared, and which is perfectionists that always have to be like head of the game and are stressed out over work all the time because everything has to be perfect. So they end up not failing, but just overthinking because everything has to be perfect. So they'll have the test taking dreams. I've never had a test taking dream. Have you guys?
Oh, I have.
Yeah, she's been able to be a perfectionist throughout her life. And she has to get it done. It has to get a straight A.
During my sleep is when I would solve a lot of problems.
Okay.
So, like, because I was going for my PhD in chemistry, and they're hard problems to solve and stuff. And so when I would finally be able to relax into it and get into that sleep state, I would like wake up in the middle of the night and have the solution.
And that's the whole point of how dreams are here to support you, how they're here to help you. And when you don't see something with the naked eye, your subconscious is retaining all this information. And when you're ready, it splurts it out like to you, and where you wake up. And sometimes you wake up and be like, oh my God, I just had this life-changing moment. I'm going to remember when you wake up, and then you don't remember.
Yeah.
Like, I've woken up at 2 a.m. and was like, oh my God, this is going to change my life.
Oh.
I'm going to remember this. And then waking up and not remembering.
Yeah.
And it's just, Everybody has 4 to 6 dreams a night, whether they remember them or not. 4 to 6 dreams, you all have life-changing moments, and unfortunately not all of us. Abraham Lincoln and all these great historians have these life-changing dreams that have, affected us today.
Yeah.
Which have been, incredible.
What are some more of those common dreams?
Okay, next one is dying. And dying, normally, for me, I look at it as a positive way because you're letting go of something that no longer serves you. Whether it's you're letting go of something in your life, something toxic, a relationship, something of yourself. And it's a fresh start. And sometimes it can be, and like I said earlier, emotional. I've had a dream because I have 2 kids, where I pass away and it's so emotional for me. I'm crying. And I wake up and I'm crying. But if you really look back and think about the things that are going on in your waking life and why you had that dream and why it was so emotional for you, you're holding on to things that no longer serve you because it's comfortable. You're holding on to moments in your life, and finally your dreams are like, let it go. You're done. That's dead. And you're holding on to dead particles. And it's hard to let go of things that is like your safe zone, and for a fresh start. It can be tough and emotional, but it's very rewarding once you figure it out.
That's a good one.
Yeah. The next one is, I'm not going in any specific order, is being chased. And I know we talked about this before. Unfortunately, lately I've had a lot of dreams about wanting to escape, whether it was from prison, I'm in a prison, or escaping from a house, or being chased. And it means you're avoiding a problem. You're avoiding something where you need to, just like I said earlier, turn around. It's not going to go away. No matter how hard you run. This is a recurring dream for me 4 or 5 different times now in the past month. I haven't figured out what problem it is, but it's not going to stop. This is who you are.
So is that a chasing or a running away?
It depends on how you feel when you're being chased.
Okay.
You could be chased from someone, but it can be considered you're running from them.
Okay.
You're being chased by the problem, but you're running from it.
Okay.
So it's different point of views depending on if you're the person chasing or the person running. So you have to look at it and, like I said, turn around and just face the problem. Once you realize, okay, what is happening in my life? Like, take a third person perspective and analyze your life, period, and seeing what's not working. What am I not facing, or what am I avoiding right now that I don't want to face, and kind of fix that, or that dream is just going to keep coming in worse and worse and more.
It's like if you don't address it, if you don't, the dream keeps coming.
And then you're going to end up having that falling dream where you have major problems, and it's going to be from chasing to falling, where it's like it went from a problem to something that's more serious because you avoided it.
All of a sudden you're going off a cliff, right?
Yeah, it's like you're being chased, and it's kind of like dreams are here to support you, and they want to help and guide you. And if you're avoiding the dreams, your problems are just gonna get worse. It's like being handed things on a silver platter and then trying to go figure it out on your own. You're like, well, here are the answers. You just have to spend time to get to know yourself and get to know who you are and why you're having these dreams.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's awesome. Are there any others that you can think of?
Yeah, there is. So I said dying. There is infidelity, cheating, partners. And that comes from if a partner is spending too much time on something else, not a person. It could be they're spending too much time at work or on a project, or they're just not giving you the attention that you want. But it is not that they're actually cheating. They're just spending more time on anything that you're just missing that attention. And it's just like they're cheating on you with something else. It doesn't always mean, normally ever, that they're actually cheating.
What if you're in a polyamorous relationship and your partner does have another relationship and you dream about that all the time?
Then
It means that you want more attention.
Yeah.
It means
Okay. Well, that makes
exactly.
sense.
Thank you, Gail.
That makes more sense. High five,
You're
Gail.
not getting the attention that you need, so your mind is going that they're giving it to something
You're
else.
not getting the attention you need, and it's going to someone else. That's very good. Thank
It's
you,
not
doctor.
like wake up the next day and be angry at your partner. And they have nothing to do with it. It's mainly like your fear. They're going to, love whatever they're doing more than you.
Mhm.
It's always a hard one because depending on the person that's dreaming it, they can take that into, oh my God, you're cheating on me.
Yeah.
And depending on the relationship, it can really mess with the relationship.
Well, that left brain likes to have black and white.
Yeah.
And so it sees it in black and white, what it knows, and it doesn't always function in metaphors.
Yeah. It's because it could be a fear. It could be their fear of that happening. And then they have this dream and they're like, well, that proves it. I have the dream.
Mhm.
And it's just, no.
Now, aren't there dreams that are like psychic dreams where you are actually like foreseeing something that's coming up?
I don't really know too much about like premonitions. I've had premonition dreams, but I don't know. I can't say here or there why or when or.
That's like in a totally different category.
Yeah.
Than,
Like for an example, when I was a kid, my sister and I shared a room. And she was looking for her other shoe, her left shoe, and she couldn't find it anywhere in the room. She looked for weeks. And I had this dream that it was in a specific spot where she's looked multiple times and just, it's a room, this size. It's for two girls. I mean, if you turn the room upside down, the shoe is nowhere. I had the dream the next morning. I said, I had a dream that the shoe was right there. And she went and looked and it was there.
wow.
So I don't know if it's just like my subconscious saw it. It wasn't in plain sight. So that's kind of like what my experience is with premonition. I've had things that are kind of, I don't want to say basic, but just kind of like obvious what the fruition will turn out to be, where you just knew what the outcome would be. So you would dream about it. Yeah, I had a gut feeling it would be that way, but I've never predicted or have any experience learning about anybody that predicted the future from dreams, just in my experience.
Any other common dreams you can think of?
Yeah, there is being pregnant. And I said earlier, which is my favorite dream. And I know a lot, and even when I was a kid, oh my God, I'm pregnant.
I'm pregnant.
And it's a fear of women. They have a dream that they're pregnant and they're like, oh my God, am I pregnant? Did I miss my period?
It's a fear of men too, believe me.
But,
oh no, she's pregnant. Damn it.
yeah,
Or you're
and
pregnant.
it's the most exciting and rewarding dream for me because that means something that you've been working on for a really long time is about to be born. Someone new is going to come into your life, and it's always a positive result. It's something that you've been working your butt off for, a project, maybe a new job, new relationship, or in a slim chance you may be pregnant, but it's always something positive. And so I always really, even though you may not feel good during the dream, I always wake up. I'm like, okay, what have I been doing? Who's new in my life? That like what new opportunities are about to happen for me, and I get really excited, and it kind of motivates me to kind of put myself out there because maybe you haven't met that opportunity yet, but you had the dream that a new opportunity is coming based off being pregnant and giving birth, that you're more open to receiving that energy of opportunity. Another dream is being late.
Oh.
Being late normally means you're overwhelmed. You have too much on your plate. You have too many promises out to people. So you're constantly worried about being late. Or you have a dream where the alarm clock didn't go off. And you're like, oh my God, I'm late for this. I'm late for that. It's normally that you're just overworked and you're just overwhelmed overall.
Yeah.
Flying. I've never had that dream. Have you?
No, like fly. Oh, like as a person flying,
Like
or like
flying.
or in like an airplane flying.
No, flying. Like physically lifted off of the gravity and flying.
No,
I haven't either.
And
Have you?
Well, I may have, but I don't remember.
You don't
it.
remember.
I don't think so. Yeah.
It's crazy, but men have more dreams about flying than women do. Because flying means lack of freedom. So when you're flying, it means like you're trying to gain that freedom back. And men, they have more pressure in society when it comes to work and providing for the family. And I know women are more equality, it's more equal now, but men do have that stress of trying to provide for their family. So they have that flying dream more to try to like fly away and like let go of that. But then they have like that restraint of freedom where they just want to fly. Yeah.
Wow.
That's an interesting one.
Makes sense. Totally makes sense to me.
Let me know if you have those.
All right. We did an episode with Linda Deer early in this season of season 2, and she talked about a merry-go-round, that it was a reoccurring dream for her. And it was people on the merry-go-round, but when it got spinning faster and faster, she was having a great time, but then people would start letting go. And then it turned into this horrific image of people dying. And
they'd fly off.
Yeah.
Fly off the merry-go-round and die.
And she's written a book, and it's really interesting in her book how she talks about the people on the merry-go-round not being able to hold on to life and just feeling out of control and dying, and how she was like, well, life was supposed to be a game, it was supposed to be fun, but people are like, they get too serious in this world and like, oh, it's not fun. And then it just becomes a horrific destruction scene for a lot of souls. And of course, she's teaching in spirituality how this is the illusion, this is the game, and how so many times people come here and they just like, I'm a body and I'm born, pay some bills, and I'm afraid to die and I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, we all live in there's so many different dimensions and different planes, I think.
Yeah.
And like you said, like this could be our dream state, and our dream state could be our waking state. Did you take the blue pill today or the white one?
Yeah,
so it's
right.
You never know,
Yeah.
Because when I'm dreaming, I'm there.
Yeah.
I am in it.
And you remember a lot? Do you write them down?
I remember.
Still?
I have books and books of years of my dreams, and it's scary how real it is. And I know a lot of people that say, I don't remember my dream, and it gets me so mad. And I'm like, it's so important. Like it is, like I said, an untapped reservoir of information that will help you get further in your life and help you understand your own life to the like a highest capacity. And by you telling yourself that you don't remember it, you're just like limiting yourself, your creativity, everything.
There's also this space where somebody will be telling you their dream and you're just like, oh my God. I've had people tell me dreams. I'm like, it's
because
just
it's for you.
A dream.
Yeah, it's a personal experience.
Correct. So if it's a dream for me, I want to tell you my dream, and you're just like, oh. But if it's a dream for you,
because it won't make sense for us.
Yeah.
It won't make sense. I remember meditating and getting, oh my God, I saw these images and symbols and all these things. That was the most life-changing experience doing this meditation, this Kundalini meditation. And I remember telling my friend, and it was just, he was so glazed over, and I was like, why aren't you listening? But it was so important for me.
Yeah.
So what's important for you is just, they're listening, but they're not active listening. It's just, they're just there to support you. And it's what you get out of your dreams is what's most important.
That's good.
Yeah.
Now, something that's super awesome about what your work is you started a podcast called Claiming Your Truth. How did that start? How's this whole thing going about?
I did radio production in college. How many moons ago? How old am I?
Last semester.
So, last semester. I want to say 17 years ago, which seems like yesterday. Because I'm only like 17.
Sure.
And I wanted to have like my own Howard Stern show, AM radio show. So I did radio production. And growing up in a spiritual world, which I called my home, I wanted to be able to give back to others. Like, I don't know if you know who Dr. Laura Schlesinger is.
Yes.
I listen to her every Friday, AM radio at 1 p.m. with my mom, or 1:30. And I kind of wanted to, even though I'm not a doctor, help people. Same with us going to Landmark, sharing your stories to heal others. Yes, I didn't go through what you guys went through. I still was able to take your story and relate to it. So everybody has a story, and maybe they're not able to spend the money and go to, what the incredible experience that we went through the Landmark Forum, but to listen to the podcast and have influential people who are not full-blown celebrities and that they feel that they can't relate to because they feel they're not on that same level. And it's more of influential people, but more like the girl next door, somebody where you feel like, wow, like I've gone through something similar, and if they're able to do that, so can I. Kind of uplifting. But also, again, be breakdowns and breakthroughs from influential peoples in their fields, from musicians, actors, philanthropists, co-hosts of shows to whoever has that story to tell that would help redeem people where they feel like they can't, move on to that, move their chapter. They're stuck on that page where they feel like that's their story, but no, it's not. And they hear it from people who are just like them.
And how's it for you? What contribution are you receiving from your guests as you listen to these stories? Well,
you know that the highest way of healing is to serve others. So by me serving others, I don't want to, it sounds selfish of me, but because I'm healing others, I'm able to heal myself. So
absolutely.
I'm not perfect.
Whoa, what?
Newsflash.
Game changer. I'm not perfect, and I'm work in progress. So by listening to these stories, and I'm healing myself at the same time.
We agree. Same thing here. It's the reason we do this is so people can share their stories and people can relate to them, and they can further their lives, and it's just an awesome space.
I think it's amazing. And a lot of people, when I said that I wanted to do a podcast, and this is 17 years after I wanted to do AIM Radio. AIM Radio, no one listens to anymore. There's 600,000 podcasts. It's like, I'm late to the game. I think I remember telling you that. I'm like, I want to start a podcast. I'm late to the game. But as long as what you bring is different and you're being authentic, you'll reach the right people. You'll reach the people who don't want to listen to the ones. I love Joe Rogan, but like the people who feel like are overrated, or the ones who are that they can't really relate to because it's the audience is just they're bringing information to too much of a large audience, and it's not personal. It's not that warm feeling.
Well, the way I look at it is if we're all contributing to our piece of it, the people who need to hear it are going to find it. And that's the important part. And the more that's out there, the more that we can make change happen in this world.
Yeah. Even if we just reach one person at a time, it's a ripple effect. We touch one person, that person touches the next person, and it just goes and goes and never ends.
Yeah.
And so we can't discount how many views we've had, if one show touched that one person, then we made a difference.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's a really good point, because even the people that you're talking to, they've never been interviewed or somebody hasn't asked them their story. Yeah. You're being such a healing presence in their life just by merely having a conversation.
I've interviewed a couple people who it was the first time they've ever shared their story. Like their parents didn't even know the events that happened to them. And it was their way of closure from that point of their life. Even though it was 10, 15 years ago, this is the first time they were able to speak of what happened to them. And it was it was females, the ones that I'm talking about. It was their way of sharing and being open about it. And it was emotional and a lot. And I had good feedback, I've had bad feedback, but that's just their vulnerability, and it's raw and it's amazing. You don't get that in the scripted world where it's like the reality shows and all these things where you feel like it's real, but it's not. Like these moments on my podcast and yours, it's real people and real breakthroughs. It's incredible. And I think that's why people keep coming back to me. It's because it's real and it's raw.
Yeah.
We're not sugarcoating anything.
It's so good.
Yeah.
You can't.
And there's always a lesson learned and growth and at the end.
Nice.
So I'm always fascinated about the soul journey. So you chose to come here. You chose to have a life here. And I believe that. I've done enough hypnotherapy and read enough sessions that as a spiritual being, there's some reason, some purpose. What are these soul lessons that you are learning and taking? I chose to be born in a religious construct of a family. You didn't. You chose to be born in a spiritual construct of a family so you could help liberate people.
I grew up Catholic.
Oh, tell me more.
Not to cut you off. I grew up Catholic. I've had my baptism. I've had my communion. But it wasn't until, my mother who, got into psychology and we got into crystals and just...
So your mom was into Catholicism also?
Yeah, my mom comes from a Jewish background.
What? It's even another dichotomy.
Yeah, well, because it was during World War II, my grandparents dropped my mom and my aunts and uncles off at a different church every Friday because they didn't want to force religion onto them that they didn't... want to be a part of. They wanted them to pick. So even though my mom comes from a Jewish descent, she picked Catholicism, if that's even the right word,
Yeah.
to be Catholic. And my father's Catholic, so I was raised Catholic. But I have so much Jewish in me. My mom is just it's crazy how even though you choose to be something, your blood is stronger than what you decide that who you are. But my mother, she was always very in tune to your intuition, your gut feeling, and crystals and energy, and I just was drawn to it. And I would say that the church is not a favor of that. So I just went in that direction. I didn't go and get my confirmation. And I don't know if you're Catholic, but that's just kind of like the steps.
We grew up in a Protestant version of that, but it's still the heaven-held paradigm.
And it's just, I got into Reiki, which absolutely changed my life. I mean, it's this universal life force where I didn't even know that we have. And now that I'm a vessel for it, it's just... those weird hippies that were like, oh, I want you to feel what I feel. Like, that's me now. It's like, what? That's not me. But it's such an incredible feeling. You just want to share it with people, even though you might sound like you're talking hocus pocus. But it's just once they understand, then they're like, oh my God, why didn't you tell me sooner?
When did you stumble upon deciding to do Reiki?
Reiki almost 3 years ago.
Okay, so not that long ago, really.
It was, I was separating and I was lost and in a dark place. And I really fell off the wagon of my spirituality because I was in an abusive relationship, emotional abuse. So I kind of took those labels and those words and really took them in as my own, even though they weren't mine. And I'm not saying that your marriage is perfect or not, but it's when you're in a marriage, you believe that other person, and even though it's negative words, and you kind of hold on to them. So I needed to find an outlet, and I went and saw a psychic and said, Franny, you need to go back to your roots. You need to go back to what you grew up on, and you need to start meditating again. And this psychic had no idea that I grew up meditating and doing all these things. He's like, you're trying to put yourself, I was doing half irons and triathlons and marathons.
Oh, wow.
And she's like, you're trying to throw yourself into things that are not you. You're on the other side of the glass looking in. This is not who you are. You're trying to fit in. And all you need to do is you'll find your people in meditation. So I went to meditation and got a small group meditation and got introduced to Reiki. And it's just empowered me to a point where I'm unstoppable because the way you think is your outlook on life. Your mindset is what creates your surrounding. And that's what Reiki did for me. Kind of like cleanse you and unblocked you. And it took some time. It was not overnight, obviously, but now I get the opportunity to help others do the same.
Yeah. We had, Dave and I both had Reiki, or not had Reiki, we had administered Reiki.
We went through some Reiki training.
We did Reiki training. And one of the most powerful things that we've ever done is we went to Costa Rica last year.
Oh, wow.
And when we were there, we were going to house sit for a guy. And we finally arrived at his place, and he stumbles up to us. He says, sorry, I was in a fight tonight. Well, he'd been bitten by a pit viper snake.
A what kind of snake?
A pit viper.
Oh, goodness.
Yes, very poisonous snake. And his foot is like 3 times as big as normal. And he refused to go to the hospital. He did not want to go.
He was in the jungle of Costa Rica.
And that's like venom, he can die.
He can totally die.
So
or lose his foot.
Well, he was very polite, though. He said instead of going to sleep on the bed where he might die, he fell asleep in the rocking chair. So in case we arrived in this remote village in the middle of the night and found a dead guy, we wouldn't want to sleep in the bed.
Oh, how nice of him.
Isn't that very polite of him?
Yeah.
It was very nice. So anyways, I'm like trying to research different techniques, Ayurvedics, how do I treat this snake bite naturally? And there was just one point I said, Dave, I'm raking starting at his feet. You go to the top. And the energy started running, and Dave could feel it.
I could feel it.
From both of us.
And you guys were already Reiki certified before that? Okay.
We were Reiki certified.
And I'm not a woo-woo dude, and so I'm like, what is this? I could feel it coming down through the top of his head. I had one hand on his head, one on his shoulder. Gail had her hands on...
the foot.
Both hands on the...
You're healing. You're the vessel for the healing.
We were bringing energy. We're like, what is... And we literally...
saw it. saw his leg shrink, and like the poison was going up his leg, and it was like stiff.
Oh
like
my
you
goodness.
could literally see his leg soften and it go down.
Yeah. Because I felt like the energy needed to go down because it was coming
Yeah,
up.
it
I said
needed
it needs to
to
go
move. It
down.
was- yeah.
It needed to be rooted and grounded into the earth. And so
Yeah.
I said we release the energy down into the earth, into Mama Gaia.
Yeah.
And we literally watched his foot go and decrease the
And what
swelling.
happened afterwards?
It took about
Yeah.
3 more days.
It wasn't magic. He wasn't like suddenly healed and
Yeah.
did
Walked
jumping
away
jacks.
dancing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was able to have mobility.
Yeah, and about 3 days later, he was able to fit his foot in his shoe and get on the plane.
Yeah.
And on a
Super cool.
plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Because
'Cause
whenever
we
you
were
have an
house-
injury, it's not good to
Yeah.
go.
Why?
Well, we were
I know.
house sitting for him, and he wasn't able to take his trip for like a week because of this injury. he had,
Okay.
so.
Well, that's
Yeah.
an incredible
Super
experience.
weird.
I can't say
So
that I've
that's
ever
like-
done anything like that, but I hope so.
But that's how powerful Reiki is.
Yeah, I mean, it's the universal life force. And if
Yeah.
you truly believe that it's a healing power, then that's what it's going to do.
It's so
It is
awesome.
all a mindset.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And your intention. If you're
Intention.
set
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
intentions, it's key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, tell people how they can get a hold of you, find your podcast, get more information.
Okay, well, definitely claimingyourtruth.com. You can message me on there, or you can reach out to me on Instagram, Franny Nicole on the go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
At the end of the episode, we like the guests to give presence to what they're doing, who they are, and maybe summarize it with if there's one thing I want to make sure people take away from my message today, it's this thing. So what would that be for you?
Well, definitely don't throw away your dreams. Even if, like I said earlier, you don't remember them, you have them in you. So tell yourself every night that you will remember, and you will slowly start to see the changes in your nightly routine and how it will affect you in your waking life. It's just so incredible. I don't want anyone to miss out on using their dreams to help them in the real world.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Franny Nicole, you've been so much fun. Thank you for teaching us some
Thank
new
you.
stuff and giving
Thank you
presence.
for having me.
So, and to you we say, namaste.
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 Thanks for joining us here on Exploring the Human Journey. You can find us as a video on YouTube or listen to us as a podcast. You can also join in the conversation by following us on Facebook and Instagram. For more information, go to the website at exploringthehumanjourney.com.